What's up, grinders? It's another night in the books, pretty much. I've got a few lineups still going, but I don't anticipate I'm going to hit anything. I only play tournaments. I don't know about you guys. 50-50s and such kind of bore me. Um, as you can see here, with all these lineups, I still have player minutes remaining over here. This is my best scoring one, and it's one of the last ones I put together. And we'll break this down real quick, and then we'll look to tomorrow and kind of see who you guys should play and who you guys should fade. So I'll make this kind of quick so the video doesn't go too long. But my highest scoring lineup, we had a point guard duel with Mo Williams, who just got traded to the Bobcats, and Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Man, I wish I put both of them together. Mo Williams, 10x his value. I don't know what the word is for that, but he was only 5,000. He had 50 points. Westbrook went out off again because Durant was he was injured again, so Westbrook had 57 points. And then I went Harden, and he had a pretty good game. The game was kind of out of hand. The looks like he had 5 turnovers too. Wow, he could have had way more points. You know, the Raptors had a bunch of turnovers too. I think DeRozan had about 5, and Lowry had a similar amount as well. Anytime the bearded one takes the floor, you're building a lineup around him. Looks like his price might drop a little bit, so you can kind of jump on that opportunity next time he plays. Then I went with Omri Caspi, and he's an Israeli small forward. This was just a min play punt. He only cost 3K. Last night he had 33 points, and they have a new coach, so I thought maybe George Karl would have seen that and tried to play him again. He just didn't have the same impact tonight. I mean, he has 10 points. I mean, it's just not going to cut it in a tournament. You need at least 30 out of them to kind of have a chance. Then another guy who tanked my lineup was Amir Johnson. I picked the wrong Johnson. It was James Johnson, who had about 47 points for the Toronto Raptors. And I had heard that he had the ability to go off, but I had started him a couple games ago, couple games in a row actually, and he just really didn't exactly pan out. And I just kind of faded him and went with Amir over here because there was no Dwight Howard. Um, you know, who I should have gone with is Zeller. I had him on my radar earlier, but hey, the dreaded second guessing yourself in daily fantasy never fails. Then we have DeMarcus Cousins. He's still playing. He's got 34 points, and wow, he's got 5 turnovers as well. So a turnover is negative points, so he could have a bigger game. Looks like he's on his way to taking a seat here pretty soon, which is somewhat disappointing as well. JJ Redick, I picked him over Jamal Crawford. Crawford was the hot hand. Redick was a little more well rested. He's been injured lately, and he was 2,000 left or less than Crawford, so he gave you a lot more roster flexibility. So I kind of just put all my eggs in the Redick basket, and it just didn't pan out for me. Next, I had Rudy Gay. The Clippers are really bad against wing players. Um, it's either Gay or Cousins who are going to have to pick up the slack. He's having a pretty decent game. Not one that's going to win a tournament, but pretty good. The last guy I went with was Eric Gordon. He just kind of slid right into my lineup. I didn't exactly really like him. I didn't really dislike him. I just didn't think he was going to have a 40-point game. I would have expected that out of some of these other guys over him. But he did, and I'm sitting at 248, which just isn't good enough. So let's move up and see what first place is working with. Mo Williams. He went with Bledsoe. I didn't even think about Bledsoe. See, here's James Johnson. Here's Pau Gasol, who I faded because he had a shitty game last night. Enes Kanter, starter for the Thunder now. He had 30 points. He only cost 4,900. I had him in one lineup. So this guy had the Mo Williams Westbrook stack, and unless you had that, you probably weren't going to do much. And then he had Terrence Jones, and he still had Terrence Jones, and he still has J.J. Redick. So he's doing pretty well. Looks like he's going to win about, I think about 10,000. Yep, 10,000 if he holds his first, which doesn't look like he's going to, because this guy has DeAndre Jordan and Rudy Gay. Wow, and J.J. Redick. So first place is screwed from the looks of it. All right, let's move on. Let's take a look at some games tomorrow so we can kind of figure out who to target and who to fade. What I generally do is I jump into the quarter arcade and build all my lineups for quarter, and then I take them and I import them in to bigger tournaments that I want to play. You should start developing a routine for setting your lineup. Some people build them for free and then import them. I find that when I do that, I get a little crazy into experimenting with my lineup. So I like to just do the quarter one. And if all else fails and I don't really feel like playing, then I can just stick to the quarter games and not lose too much money. I kind of wish I did that tonight, but hey, what can you do? So tomorrow there are some earlier games, but Draftkings splits them up in two, so it's basically another 5-game slate, which I don't know if I'll play or not after tonight. I haven't decided yet. Odds are I probably will play, but hey, we'll see how that goes. So we have Westbrook at the top. As long as Durant out, he's a must start, even at 10,600. You can fade Curry. He's playing Indianapolis, and you know what? They're a really slow-paced team, and Curry's probably going to just destroy him anyway. But, wow, the point guard pool is very, very light. So Ty Lawson is definitely in play after what Mo Williams did against the Thunder. So I would definitely fire up Ty Lawson. Damian Lillard is in the conversation as well. I'm not in love with him. I don't really have the best reason for that right now. There's just a lot of mouths to feed on that team with Aldridge back, and he's just not necessarily going to have to take over a game and hit 50 points. So you can fade him in a tournament. I mean, you could probably play him in a cash game, though. Conley, nah, he's kind of a fade. He just is kind of in the background on that team. The bigs kind of run that team. It's all about Gasol and Zebo. Rajon Rondo is an interesting play. He's still relatively cheap. Interesting tournament play. I'm not in love with him really, but still interesting. Elfrid Payton seems to be playing really well for his new coach, so you can definitely fire him up. He's reasonably priced at 5,500. George Hill is no longer on a minutes restriction, but that Pacers game could get ugly really, really fast. So you might just want to fade it. Evan Turner, nah. No Jordan Clarkson. Well, we saw what Mo Williams did. And his price is still, wow. It looks like his price went down. I don't know what happened with the algorithm there. People are going to be all over him probably, but his price dropped 200, so you're definitely starting Mo Williams. So it's kind of thin. I would go Westbrook, Lawson, definitely Lawson tomorrow. Peyton and Mo Williams. So let's see what's going on at shooting guard. Klay Thompson, his price just keeps going down after that 70-point game. They're just pummeling teams. They don't really have to do much. 7,600, don't bite. It looks really tempting, but the Pacers play a really, really slow-paced style, so he might not even reach value tomorrow. It might be even over before he gets there. I do like Monte Ellis. Relatively cheap. He can kind of push it to 40, 50 points. Hasn't been playing the greatest lately, but as you can see, he's got a 55-point game, 45 point, 38. So I definitely like him a lot. Oladipo against Philadelphia 76ers, who are just terrible. Definitely start him. I don't really see a reason to start Matthews. Ride the hot hand and Gerald Henderson. He's still playing well with everybody kind of back in that offense. I mean, he had 32 points. I mean, he had like 25 tonight, I think, looking back on it. Avery Bradley went off for 50 points 2 nights ago. He probably isn't necessarily a bad start. Oh, wait a second. Let's go back here. Isaiah Thomas. See if he's playing or not, because if he's playing, then you can maybe fire him up in a tournament. But after seeing what Goran Dragic did tonight, I'd be a little gun shy. Stuckey had 50 the other night, but he's questionable, so kind of keep. He had 44. Keep an eye on him. People might just flood to him because of his big game, and if he has a bad game, you can jump a lot of lineups that way. And it's against Golden State. It could get ugly real quick, so you can fade him, actually. No reason to start Ellington. Stevenson, still no reason to start him. Waiters, what did he do tonight? Probably not much. And Foy is an interesting play, but it seems like Gallinari, who's listed as a small forward, is probably a better play because he had 28 points last game. Let's see how much his price went up. Wow, it jumped 1,400 points. No, it jumped 600 points. So definitely still start Gallo. I mean, 28 points, and I think he's going to get kind of more opportunity to hold on to the starting job. So he's a great value play for tomorrow. Durant's injured. If Harris is playing, you're starting him. Parsons looks like he's out. Wilson Chandler, after the Nuggets kind of traded a few people, is a pretty good play tomorrow. He's going to be kind of asked to step it up a bit on that team and take on a bigger role. But I definitely like Gallinari. They're both listed at the same position, but keep in mind Gallinari's playing shooting guard and Wilson Chandler is a true small forward. So Green just never does anything. His price is always so enticing when you look at him and he plays for the Grizzlies, but he seems to max out at about 20 points, so you can definitely fade him. CJ Miles just keeps rolling, and for his price, he's kind of streaky, but he has some big games in him, and he has some duds, so I would keep an eye on him. I'd definitely rather start Gallinari, and they're the same price, but he's a decent alternate in that regard. So let's see power forward. Aldridge, I think, is in play. He's probably a guy I'm going to build around tomorrow in 9,000. I mean, that's pretty good price for him. Zach Randolph is definitely always a good play. He's a double-double machine, so we're playing him tomorrow. Even though it looks like the matchup is bad, I think he'll find a way. I'd rather start Aldridge, though. You can fade David West against Golden State. He had a dud of a game last game, and he can stuff the stat sheet, but against Golden State, he's a fade. It's a consistent theme. Oh my God, this is great. Serge Ibaka against Denver. Denver is so bad against big men, and I think Ibaka had a pretty big game tonight. I think he can continue that. but Cantor, we'll get to him in a minute. I think Cantor's a great play tomorrow. It looks like Covington. This Philly-Orlando game is a sneaky game for fantasy points you can mine from. Covington is in play tomorrow. I mean, he's had some big games in them, 40-point, 35-point games. So keep an eye on him. Fareed is a guy you can kind of, he's kind of too big of a risk, actually. I think you can fade him. I think you should target bigs against Denver, but I don't know if I would play any bigs from Denver. Noel just had a monster game, 48-point game. I don't know if he's going to have something like that again or if he can, but his price is relatively good, so I'd keep an eye on him. Boozer, I don't think he's in line for any more big games or as many because Jordan Hill is back, and same with Ed Davis. So see how much Jordan Hill is playing and then kind of go from there. So Brandon Bass had all the minutes he can eat. They're kind of short-handed. He might have that opportunity again against the Lakers. Lakers are bad. But the thing about Bass is, Sullinger's out. It just, he maxes out at 33. If it was like a Sullinger and they were short-handed, they would hit 40. He would hit 40 or 45 or 50. But I mean, I'll take 30 points from a guy who's 5,200. That's not terrible. I'm happy with that. It's not a sexy play by any means, but he's going to grind out some points for you. McGarry's out of play. Okay, let's go to center and we'll call it a night because it's going a little long. So two of the guys you want to build around tomorrow are Aldridge and Vucevic. Vucevic has a 50-point upside and he's relatively cheap, so you're definitely starting him. And then let's see if Gasol is playing. I don't know if you want to play him. I'd probably rather play Zebo, but he's never a bad play. Hibbert you can fade if look how looks like center is a barren desert tomorrow. So see what the story is on Hill, if he's playing tomorrow or not. If he is, you can play him. This is probably the play of the day, perhaps. I mean, it's definitely more of a tournament play, but he's playing against Denver. Denver's terrible against bigs, and he only costs 5,200. Looks like he's going to get plenty of minutes in that on that team. So that's going to be it, guys. I don't want to make this video any longer. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you to any new followers. It seems like I'm getting followers faster than I expected. And if you guys haven't signed up to either FanDuel or Draftkings, make sure you use the promo code DRAFTSHOT at sign up for a 100% sign up bonus. And otherwise, leave any questions in the comments. If you guys are looking for some Facebook group action, join FanDuel Weekly Picks, and we kind of break down all these picks. And yeah, I make my own videos, but there's a lot of guys in there, about 600, just who love daily fantasy sports. So feel free to join. Anyone can join unless you're a shady character, and then we won't let you join. So you guys have a good night. Thank you.